Not every haunting happens in a graveyard. Sometimes, it's the quiet apartment down the hall. This story isn't fiction. I lived it, and it started in a place I never expected. Unit 6B. I moved into Unit 6B because it was cheap. Too cheap. The listing had been up for 3 months in a city where rentals vanished in hours. No background checks, utilities included. First month free. I should have been suspicious, but I was broke, exhausted, and desperate after my third eviction in a year. The building itself was old, but solid. A pre-war brownstone just outside downtown. 5 floors, 12 units. The hall smelled like old wood and distant curry. The super Mr. Hillman was polite and quiet, almost too quiet, like someone was always listening. He gave me the keys and told me not to open the basement door under any circumstance. His tone didn't invite questions. I didn't ask. Unit 6B was at the far end of the top floor. It was clean. The walls were freshly painted. No furniture, no stains. The light switches worked. The fridge hummed. But the first thing I noticed, something about the air felt hollow, still, like the room was holding its breath. I unpacked quickly and went to bed early. Around 2:14 a.m., I woke to the sound of soft footsteps above me. I was on the top floor. At first, I assumed it was the pipes or an animal in the attic, but the sound was deliberate. One step, then another, slow, pacing, as if someone were waiting. I didn't sleep. The next morning, I asked Mr. Hillman if there was roof access. No, he said, without looking up. And even if there was, it wouldn't be someone walking. Could it be raccoons? I asked. He finally looked at me. Not here, not anymore. That anymore stuck with me. The next night, same time, 2:14 a.m., the footsteps returned. Louder, closer. They paced above me for 20 minutes, then stopped. Then I heard it. Knock, knock, knock. 3 slow knocks. From the ceiling. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. The next morning, I went up to the roof via the fire escape. Nothing but gravel, vents and pigeons. No footprints. No sign of anyone. Except for one thing. On the ledge above my unit, someone had etched a word into the stone. Listen. I considered moving out. I even started packing. But curiosity outweighed fear. That night, I stayed up with my phone recording audio. At exactly 2:14 a.m., the footsteps began. Slow, steady, circling, then silence. And then, a voice. It was faint, like a whisper between walls. I turned up the gain and played it back a dozen times. He's still down there. I went to Mr. Hillman the next morning. I asked about the basement. He stared at me for a long time, then said, "You weren't supposed to hear that. Is there someone living down there?" He didn't answer. I pressed further. Eventually, he sighed and pulled out an old manila folder from his drawer. Inside were faded police reports, old photos, and a newspaper clipping. Man found sealed in basement wall. Believed to be Super's missing brother. Mr. Hillman's younger brother, Simon, had vanished 30 years ago. He was mentally ill. Convinced something in the building was watching him through the walls. The police believed he barricaded himself in the basement and accidentally entombed himself. The tenants began hearing noises, whispers, knocks. One tenant, Unit 6B, claimed Simon had spoken to her. She moved out the next day and was never found again. No one stayed long in Unit 6B after that. I should have left. I know that now, but I didn't. That night, I left my recorder running and went to bed. At 2:14 a.m., the footsteps came again, then the knock, then the whisper. This time, it said, "He's not alone." The next morning, the recorder was gone. I checked the entire apartment. Nothing. No signs of forced entry. Just gone. And on the bathroom mirror, written in condensation, even though the mirror hadn't fogged up once since I moved in. You shouldn't be here. That afternoon, I went down to the basement. Screw Hillman and his rules. The door was locked, but old. One hard shove and it opened. It was pitch black, musty, the kind of dark that felt alive. I clicked on my phone flashlight and stepped down the stairs. At the bottom was a narrow corridor, lined with dirt walls and old stone. A door at the end looked newer than the rest, metal, bolted shut from the outside. The air was thick. My chest felt tight. As I approached the door, I heard breathing, not mine. I whispered, "Simon." Silence. Then something whispered back, "That's not my name." I ran. Back up the stairs. Back to my apartment. I slammed the door and locked every bolt. Then I noticed something had changed. My apartment, Unit 6B, was no longer at the end of the hall. There were now 2 more doors past mine. I walked into the hallway. The numbers had changed. Mine now read 6C. And the door at the end, the one that wasn't there before, read 6B. I haven't opened it. Not yet. But every night at 2:14 a.m., the footsteps start again. They come from the hall now, and they stop outside that new door. The one labeled 6B, the one I used to live in. If you made it this far, you're brave enough to hear more. Subscribe for more real, chilling encounters every week. And remember, not every knock is just the pipes.